The CrossFit Games are the world's premier test to find the fittest on Earth. To win the games, you need to be ready for anything. You need strength and endurance, power and agility. 5 months ago, the entire world was invited to prove their fitness in the World Wide Open. 26,000 showed up from 59 countries. 1,500 qualified for the 17th semi-final regionals. Now, the 49 men and 47 women competing in the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games have 3 days and 10 unknown events to claim the title Fittest on Earth and $250,000. Welcome to the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games. We are on day 1, men's event 1. Just 36 hours ago, athletes and spectators alike were shocked by the announcement of the first ever swim in CrossFit Games history. Add to that a couple miles of running in soft sand and a few hundred calisthenics, and you have the first challenge of the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games.
We are at the Santa Monica Pier where 49 of the fittest men from around the world have gathered. They are ready to battle it out for the title, Fittest on Earth.
CrossFit is a fitness program that combines a wide variety of functional movements into a timed or scored workout. Weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman, gymnastics, running, swimming, rowing, biking. Constantly varied workouts get you ready for anything. The man who performs best over all of the events walks home with a crown. Some of these athletes are past champions. The unassuming 2010 champion Graham Holmberg was a two-sport collegiate athlete now looking for a repeat. The stoic 2009 champion Nico Salo is a fire captain known for his mental fortitude. And 2008 champion bear-like Jason Kalipa has stayed near the top year after year. Others are experienced veterans seeking to claim the title. Rich Froning Jr., back after a second-place finish in his rookie year, is a strength and conditioning coach from Tennessee Tech. Crowd favorite Chris Spieler is the only man to compete in all 5 CrossFit Games, and firefighter Matt Chan was a collegiate water polo player. The rest of the field is equally strong. There are 2 newcomers this year who cannot be ignored. Dan Bailey was a collegiate-level 400-meter track and field athlete from Uniontown, Ohio. Josh Bridges is a former wrestler and a longtime CrossFitter on active duty for the U.S. Navy. Let's take a look now at how this event breaks down. A short sprint to the water leads directly into a 200-meter swim. Athletes then attack a 1,500-meter run in soft sand. Following the run, the men complete 50 chest-to-bar pull-ups. So for a repetition to count, arms must be fully extended at the bottom, and the chest must make contact with the bar at the top. After the pull-ups, they move on to 100 hand-release push-ups, like a standard push-up, but here they have to lift their hands off the ground on the bottom. The last calisthenic challenge is 200 squats. For a squat to count, the crease of the hip must fall below the height of the knee at the bottom and come up to a full standing position at the top. The race ends with another 1,500-meter run through soft sand to the finish line. CrossFit fans have been waiting an entire year for this very moment. Men's event 1 of the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games is underway. Ben Smith, the 21-year-old out of Virginia, Jared Davis from Florida off to an early lead, followed by Graham Holmberg, the 2010 champion.
Some athletes choosing to sprint here to the water, while some choosing not to go all out in an effort to conserve energy for what is clearly going to be a longer event. Of course, positioning has to be taken into consideration, as it's going to be hard to pass from back of the pack there.
Ben Smith and Jared Davis are followed closely behind by 2010 champion Graham Holmberg and also Josh Bridges, who is second in the World Wide Open competition.
Now, this is the first time that swimming has been tested in the games, and of course that is a challenge in and of itself. The open water presents a brand new challenge, as some of these athletes may have never had to dive under the waves like they're doing here.
Well, yeah, you just got attacked by that wave. You can also see that in the middle of the pack, there's a little bit of combat swimming. You're getting feet to the face. You might be running into other athletes, and so it might be good to have that good early lead. Looks like Davis has been passed by Matt Chan. Let's meet Matt Chan and some other top contenders in the CrossFit Games.
My name's Matt Chan from Denver, Colorado, and I train at CrossFit Verve. My name's Graham Holmberg. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I co-own and train at Rogue Fitness.
I'm Josh Bridges. I am from San Diego, California, and I train at Invictus.
My name is Jason Kalipa. I train and own CrossFit Santa Clara.
My name is Mikko Salo. I'm from Finland. I train in CrossFit Pori.
I'm Rich Froning from Cookeville, Tennessee. Train at CrossFit Cookeville.
My name's Dan Bailey.
I'm from Uniontown, Ohio. I train at CrossFit Legacy and Rogue Fitness.
I'm Chris Spieler and I'm from Park City, Utah. I own and train at CrossFit Park City.
CrossFit legend Chris Spieler passing through the bottom left side of your screen. You just had a chance to meet Chris. He was third place in last year's CrossFit Games. Now Matt Chan rounding the last buoy and headed back for the beach. He is your runaway leader at this point by over 30 seconds.
Now Chan here showing his experience in the water as he switches strokes to allow himself some more air. He knows this is his opportunity to create a large lead, as the run and calisthenics later in the event will not play as much to his strengths.
There he is, taking all the help that he can get, and the firefighter from Denver, Colorado will be the first out of the water. When we come back from the break, we'll see if Matt Chan can maintain or extend his lead as we enter phase 2 of event number 1, the soft sand run. If you're just joining us, the athletes have entered the water at the start of event number 1. The events of the CrossFit Games are not revealed to the athletes until shortly before they begin. 36 hours ago, the athletes gathered for the briefing of event number 1, where event director Dave Castro announced they would be swimming in the open ocean.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody else is feeling, but I mean, you heard it, and as soon as he announced it, everybody was just like, it was dead silence. It was like, and then, oh my God.
I'm definitely not a strong swimmer, I'll be the first to admit, but I have a feeling a lot of people in here are not strong swimmers, so it's okay.
Your current leader, Matt Chan, was 4th place overall at last year's CrossFit Games. He looks good right now, but remember, there's a long road ahead. After the swim, these athletes are attacking a 1,500-meter soft sand run, hundreds of calisthenics, and another run to finish. Fighting for 2nd place and 45 seconds off the leader are Australian Chris Hogan on the left and Games veteran Blair Morrison on the right.
Now Matt Chan here taking the time to put on his shoes. Transition time is crucial in this type of event, and Matt needs to be aware that he could lose that large lead really quickly here by taking that time. Chris Hogan from Australia did just that. He's passing Matt Chan, going without the shoes and taking over that top spot.
Miko Salo crossing your screen now, followed closely behind by Chris Spieler. They're coming out of the water 1 minute and 30 behind Matt Chan. Chan now making up some ground on the run. Let's take a second to meet him.
I CrossFit because I want to be able to do anything in life without ever saying no, whether it's going on a long hike with some friends, doing my job. I want to be able to do whatever anybody asks me to do and never have to turn something down because of physical limitations. It's just the sport of CrossFit has taken that further to I want to be the best CrossFitter there is right now.
Now Matt Chan unable to close that gap. It's actually Josh Bridges who left the water in 6th place, taking the lead now from Chris Hogan.
Josh Bridges moving very efficiently in this portion of the run. He is on active duty in the United States Navy, using that background to his advantage.
I CrossFit just because it's a means to an end. You know, it helps me with my work, everyday life. It just translates into the military really well. I've been CrossFit since 05, and I love it. I definitely say I'm a little guy, and I definitely say I have an advantage in most aspects of CrossFit. You know, I expect to win it, and I just want to have a good time.
He certainly looks to be having a good time. Josh Bridges is your overall leader. Rich Froning Jr.'s moved into 6th position. He was the runner-up last year, and he's certainly an athlete to watch in this competition. In 7th through 9th on his heels, Rob Forte of Australia, Zach Forrest, a former Navy SEAL, and in the red headband, Dan Bailey, who was 1st in the Worldwide Open competition.
Josh Bridges moving very efficiently. He has a lot of experience running in the sand, taking small and choppy steps as he approaches that turnaround point.
His lead at this point about 20 seconds. He's looking to extend that as much as possible. As we saw with Matt Chan, all of these athletes are proficient, and if you let up for just 1 second, someone could steal your lead.
And if you are Rich Froning Jr. or Rob Forte here, this is certainly not the group of men you want on your heels. Bailey, Spieler, and Forrest, smaller athletes will fly through the calisthenics.
Yeah, watch for these athletes when they get their hands on the pull-up bar. They're going to make up a lot of ground. Another man you don't want on your heels, 2009 champ Miko Salo.
I've been a firefighter 9 years in my hometown Pori. It's the best job in the world. It's my dream job. A CrossFit workout, it's quite similar to going into the burning house. It's pretty exciting. I won the games 2009 and last year I was 5th. My goal this year is to win the games.
Miko now rounding the halfway point in the run. Daniel Tominski of the Northeast hot on his tracks. Meanwhile, Josh Bridges has extended his lead to almost 50 seconds.
Josh Bridges here certainly wanting to push to extend that lead as much as possible, but he also needs to remember what he still has to come.
Immediately upon his return, he will be tasked with 50 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 100 hand-release push-ups, and 200 squats before that final run. Matt Chan has dropped to 5th place. Chris Spieler has moved from 18th to 6th. Here as Josh enters the stadium with a smile on his face, you can hear the crowd cheering. His home gym, CrossFit Invictus, has brought hundreds of spectators.
Now, Josh really needs to pay attention to transition time here. He does have a big lead, but he could lose it if he takes too much time. You can see he quickly dried his hands. He's chalked up, and he's going to get right on the pull-up bar here and get started.
We're taking a short break now. When we come back, the men will try and close the gap on Josh Bridges in Stage 3, the calisthenics. At stake is $250,000 in the title, Fittest on Earth. The test of fitness is the test of the human machine. How capable are you, not just in something, but in anything? How much work can you get done and how quickly, even if you've never done that exact task before? True fitness is being ready for anything. The CrossFit Games are different every time. Competitors train all year without knowing what the events are going to be. They have to be prepared for any eventuality. Each year, the events are announced one at a time, just days, hours, or even minutes before the event begins. These men and women truly are the fittest on Earth. Josh Bridges is your current leader by just over a minute.
And Josh is being chased down by bodyweight specialist Chris Spieler, who is getting here to the pull-up bar in 6th position. However, this is the race to watch. It will not take Chris Spieler long to complete these pull-ups, and Josh Bridges knows it. Josh has 5 left, and Chris could go unbroken on the set of 50.
Josh Bridges, though, onto the push-ups. He has a military background, certainly plays well for proficiency in these kind of movements, and he's creating that gap between him and 2nd place.
You can see Chris's pull-ups very efficient, very fast. Josh needs to complete a lot of push-ups to keep that lead before Chris joins him at the station.
And at this moment in time, doesn't look like too much of a problem. Remember, the standards, different from a normal push-up. You have to take your hands off of the ground at the bottom of the movement and push out to full extension at the top. Chris Spieler now right on his heels as suspected. Josh Bridges has 38 repetitions so far, really a minuscule advantage over an athlete like Chris Spieler.
And Chris Spieler able to move from 6th place all the way to 2nd with that extremely fast set of pull-ups.
2010 champion Graham Holmberg just now returning from run number 1. That's got to be mentally devastating to see that 2 athletes are already on to the push-ups.
Now, 100 push-ups may sound easy to some of you, and all of you can try this at home. Just make sure to release your hands at the bottom, come to full extension at the top. Also, it's a whole different game out there with the judges and all these athletes have done so far.
Australian Chris Hogan and Zach Forrest of Las Vegas make 4 athletes currently on their push-ups. There's still a long road ahead. After the push-ups, the athletes face 200 squats and another 1,500-meter run. Dan Bailey, the man who won the Worldwide Open competition, comes to the push-ups in 8th place.
Dan is a relatively smaller CrossFit athlete. He's 5'7", 165 pounds, taking full advantage of this event here as it plays to his strengths.
Remember, the athletes have 100 of these hand-release push-ups followed by 200 air squats before the final 1,500-meter run. Daniel Tominski, an athlete out of the Northeast, rocking the aerodynamic swimsuit.
Hey, he's just trying to make himself lighter, Rory.
That's right. Some of these heavier athletes having difficulty on the pull-up bar as Josh Bridges in the bottom right of your screen gets to his feet for the air squats. He is moving fast and showing no signs of fatigue.
That is quite the pace when you've got 200 squats in front of you, not to mention that run that he still needs to complete. We will see if he's able to keep that.
Danny Dupree of South Africa just returning from his run. That's got to be heart-wrenching to see Bridges already onto the air squat.
And you can see Bridges' judge here counting out his reps as head judge Adrian Bosman in the backpack there runs over to double check that count. You do not want to have reps taken away from you. It wastes tons of energy and tons of time.
Bridges now taking his first break. He's got to maintain his pace to stay ahead of Chris Spieler. Chris Spieler now onto his feet to start his air squats.
Now Chris will most likely set this tempo here and maintain it it would not be surprising to see him do all 200 reps in a row. He's really making sure to set that standard so he has no reps taken away from him, making a movement that is very difficult look very easy with how efficient he is. Let's meet Chris now.
I know I've been given a gift. I know that I've worked incredibly hard to get here. I compete because that's just my way of giving back. I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of the CrossFit Games, but no, I couldn't do that without the support of my wife and little boy. You know, if it's CrossFit and the right stuff is there, I know I can win.
Chris Spieler, not just an incredible athlete, but also the crowd favorite here. He is the only man to have competed in all 5 CrossFit Games.
A very interesting visual here. You see Chris Spieler in the middle of your screen, and Josh Bridges in the bottom left are the only athletes to be on their air squats at this point in time. They're dominating the field.
Josh Bridges currently at 163 reps, Chris Spieler at 85.
Josh Bridges is going to want to get out of the gates first, or Chris Spieler will take him on the run. Zach Forrest now on his feet, taking the 3rd position.
And Chris Spieler and Zach Forrest here pretty much going rep for rep at this point.
Dan Bailey in the red headband on his feet. All of these men are strong runners. It's anyone's game at this point. We have a short commercial break. When we return, the conclusion of men's event 1 of the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games. If you're just joining us, these men have swam 200 meters, run 1,500 meters, completed 50 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 100 hand release push-ups, and now they're completing 200 air squats before their final run to the finish.
Just 3 reps left here for Josh Bridges, and he is going to be the first athlete out on this final run.
He has now been working for 23 minutes and 47 seconds, and he is showing no signs of letting up. He is attacking this last run.
Josh Bridges, a very efficient runner, again with quite a lot of experience in the sand. He knows he has the lead, but not by how much.
There's the man that's hoping to track him down. Spieler had 120 reps when Bridges left, but look at how substantial this lead is. It looks as if you didn't know better that he's on a leisurely run on the beach by himself.
And all of these men here still completing their push-ups and squats are literally watching Josh Bridges run away with this workout.
Chris Spieler is now done with his air squats, and he is the second onto the run. If anyone can track down Josh Bridges, it's this man. He has taken 1st or 2nd in every single endurance-heavy event in CrossFit Games history, but 1 minute and 40 seconds is a lot of ground to make up.
And the pace that these guys are going is crazy considering what they've done so far.
Josh Bridges now setting the pace, and Chris Spieler trying to track him down. They have 1st and 2nd position on lock. Zach Forrest will be the next athlete to enter the run. He's done with his squats now, and he's going to try and track down Chris Spieler. No, wait, his judge actually calling him back. He has additional reps to complete. 10 more to go before he can leave.
And that is exactly why these judges are here. They are here to make sure each one of these athletes completes all of the prescribed work.
And one thing about a CrossFit athlete, notice the sportsmanship. He doesn't argue with the judge. He does the work required and then makes his way to the run. Chris Spieler now trying to track down Bridges, who is at the halfway point of the run.
As Josh gets ready to turn around here, he's going to see how far away that pier looks, but this time the pier is the finish line.
Dan Bailey now on course in 4th position on the heels of Zach Forrest. Your leaders, Josh Bridges and Chris Spieler, taking time in the middle of the competition to pass out a high five. This is a common theme in CrossFit and something that makes the sport unique.
And Chris Spieler also making his way around the turnaround point, maximizing on that lead that he has. Matt Chan, who was first out of the water, now looking like he's having a hard time moving his legs after all those air squats.
Josh Bridges and Dan Bailey 1st and 2nd place in the Worldwide Open competition, showing each other some love. There's 2010 champion Graham Holmberg still on his air squats.
And Josh just passing out high five after high five as he gets closer and closer to the finish line here.
Bridges is now within spitting distance of the finish line, and he will be your 1st place finisher of event number 1 in the 2011 Reebok CrossFit Games.
And in true CrossFit fashion, Bridges will run all the way through that line with a smile on his face. Bridges finishes in 33 minutes and 21 seconds.
Now what an absolute stud. In just over a half hour, he's done a tremendous amount of work. 200 meters of swimming, 1,500 meters in the soft sand, 50 chest-to-bar pull-ups, 100 hand release push-ups, 200 air squats, and a final 1,500-meter run. Here comes Chris Spieler. In keeping with tradition, he will take second place in this event.
And Josh Bridges goes over to celebrate with his friends and family, picking up his son. We have seen him do this at events before. He loves to share these moments.
Chris Spieler officially over the finish line in second place with a time of 34:41. On the other side, though, Mikko Salo is looking not so hot, about to be passed by Lucas Parker, who was the last man out of the water.
Very surprising to see Mikko in this position.
Zach Forrest looks over his shoulder and sees Dan Bailey imposing. He turns up the heat to lock in third place with a time of 37:19. Bailey rounds out your top four.
And let's go down to Ben Hollingshouse, who's with Chris Spieler on the track.
What were you thinking during the workout? Tell us step by step.
The swim, just get through it. And then when it came to the run, just to kind of pace myself out, see how I felt. Maybe that's where I could make up some ground. Same thing on the pull-ups.
So you wanted focus on the body weight and the run to make it up?
Yeah, swim was just kind of get through it.
2009 Games champ Mikko Salo shocking those here in attendance by crossing the finish line in 42nd place.
Yeah, something does not look right here with the 2009 champ. We'll have to catch up with Mikko here in a second. Let's take a look at the leaderboard.
This was the first ever CrossFit event with a swim. Matt Chan, who was first out of the water, finishes in 17th place.
Josh Bridges first with an impressive 33:21, followed predictably by Chris Spieler. These guys were nearly 3 minutes faster than everyone else.
It was a rough workout, but I'm done with it now, so I'm glad it's over with.
Now you're from San Diego. You should be used to the water, right?
Yeah, I can swim and run and all that. So these bodyweight movements I like to do them. So.
Have you been doing any training in the open water at all?
A little bit, not really like swimming. I do diving, some diving down there, but
like for pennies on the ocean floor.
Yeah, exactly. I need money.
2009 champion Mikko Salo collapsed shortly after the event. He was first attended by lifeguards on duty and then Santa Monica EMT. He is going to be okay, but an impact in the first wave of the swim burst his eardrum. The nausea and disorientation continued to worsen. Finally, to the great disappointment of him and his thousands of fans, Mikko Salo, the fire captain and diver from Finland, has withdrawn from competition. That is it for the men here in Santa Monica, California. Collegiate water polo athlete Matt Chan was first out of the water, but he lost ground on the run and through the calisthenics. Chris Spieler takes second on the heels of Josh Bridges, who is our winner from event 1.
We have 9 more events to go. Next time, can Josh Bridges and Chris Spieler stay on top when the heavy barbells come out? The athletes continue their quest for the title Fittest on Earth and $250,000. I'm Rory McKernan, joined by Miranda Oldroyd. We'll see you next time.